time for the interview segment where we get to interview someone on a very, very important topic. Now, today, what are we discussing? We're talking about recycling, and we want to find out the way it's going to be. We are going to use recycling to achieve a circular economy. And to do that with us is Jumoke Kasim. She is a sustainability consultant. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks
for joining us.
Yes. Thanks very much. Yeah.
So let's start this conversation by finding out how, recycling can be used to achieve a circular economy.
Thank you. Recycling is, in essence, reusing the things that we have. And circular means making the life cycle go round. So recycling is just one of the ways to make a circular economy happen. And it entails that we need to take advantage of the various ways to ensure that from cradle to grave, everything that we use is reused. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are various ways. Yeah, various ways to that. We need to start separating our waste from source.
Okay.
We need to learn that. We need to get into that mode seriously. And when we separate the waste, we separate organic waste, which can be converted to compost, mostly food waste, and that helps to complete the loop. So when you convert food waste to compost, you can use it to grow food again. So that way, there's no wastage, and that loop is completed. And almost 60% of our waste is organic food. A lot goes to the landfill currently, but we need to change that status quo from that status quo. So if you saw the waste, you now have plastic separated in a clean form now.
Okay.
So this comprises of plastic from water, from our cosmetics, from bath gel, cream, hair products. Almost like 50% of what we use in the household is packaged in plastic. So all of them can be reused. And so when you start separating, you have them in a clean format. So it commands more value and is taken away from the organic, which make it smell. And then you have can that can be separated.
Okay.
Can for drinks and various other things. You have electric waste that can also be separated. Okay. You have paper packaging, cardboard, all of that can be separated. And so they are all in clean form now, and they can be reused and recycled in a clean way. So it's better that way to separate. That's the way we can achieve circular economy. And then going to fecal waste, that's also waste, and that can be converted to biogas, which can be used for cooking. So you can actually have practically everything reused and recycled. Okay. We just need to get into the mode and create awareness and educate ourselves because everything can be reused,
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking about everything being reused, you find out that there are some persons, for instance, who in their own little way, when they use plastic bags, for instance, to buy items from supermarkets and stuff, when they're going back and next time to the market, they take the same plastic bags. Now, is that reuse on a large scale, or is it the reuse that sees us taking plastic bags off the market and replacing it with maybe hemp product bags or jute bags, as it were?
The plastic bag is not as durable as the jute bag. You find out that more often than not, people just dispose it because sometimes it gets dirty and they're lazy to wash it, or they just don't want to wash it because they can get another one. It's not sustainable because the plastic bag decomposes. It takes about 1,000 years, 900 to 1,000 years for the plastic to decompose. Okay. So it's not sustainable. And so we need to shift from that status quo. There is a new bag that is being done outside Nigeria made of cassava, and it can dissolve in water. Yes. It's made out of cassava. Wow. It can dissolve in water. So that's a sustainable one. But I fear it might compete with food, so that's the only...
What do you mean it might compete with food?
Cassava is staple food here in this part of the world, so...
Is it made from cassava, the eatable one, or cassava, the byproduct?
The eatable one. Yeah, so that's something that is controversial, but it's an attempt at something. So this is also a solution to plastic. This made of silicone, and it's reusable. It's temperature resistant.
Okay.
It can take minus 40. It can be put in the freezer. It can withstand minus 40 degrees Celsius and 200 degrees Celsius of heat. And so when you finish your water, you can actually fold it, and it's unbreakable. You can fold this and bind it like this and put it in your bag.
Okay.
So this is a new solution to plastic use. And this is another one. This one is collapsible. So when you finish drinking your water, you just fold it. So this is meant to promote our campaign against plastic use, single-use plastic use.
Before we move into alternatives to plastic use or single-use PET bottles, let us look at, is it possible to do a general cleanup? And what I mean by cleanup is, now you've mentioned that we need to start separating waste from source. Now, if I, for instance, in my house, if I separate waste, I separate plastic bottles, I separate glass, I separate aluminum, I separate paper and all of that. And the waste collector comes and doesn't know better, and you just pack the entire thing and lump it up again.
That's where we're going. So there's the plan to create exclusive waste entrepreneurs. We plan to train them.
Okay.
We're working on that to start this and create exclusive collectors so that they can collect sorted waste and pass it on to off-takers who will recycle them. So that's in process, so that this situation won't arise. So only organic waste will be collected by the trucks, and then you have someone who is dedicated to collecting paper waste, come for it. Somebody who is dedicated for can come for it, and then they take it to off-takers who are going to recycle them. So that's in process, and that's the way we should go. So we need to decentralize. This I said in my earlier interview. We need to decentralize so that we can have enough people to pick up sorted waste. So that's the way to go to make it work.
And now there's like a transition into being a circular economy, into circularity. And then I want to know how, the transition into a circular economy can help create jobs, and help the economy.
Yeah, currently, let me speak for Lagos State. There are about approximately 400 wards. And I think they just have one collector, and that's small. It's not enough. So when we train more exclusive waste entrepreneurs, that will be creating jobs, and we call it green jobs. So that's how it can create more jobs. And there are other ways of recycling. I mentioned converting fecal waste to biogas. So that's another part. There is conversion of waste to arts. You have different kind of weight being converted to art. So that's another way that jobs can be created. When we train people who can be that. You have waste, the sea container being converted to offices, houses, site houses. I mean, people are already doing that. Even some banks, they use the container for their bank premises now. So training for that is creating jobs, because the person now become an entrepreneur, designer for waste to art. And then tires, they use tires now. If you see fantastic art, furniture, different artworks, it's fantastic. You'll be amazed what can come out of this waste. You can use a tire for flower pot, so it's fantastic what we can get. So when we train new people in these different exclusive ways of recycling, that's the way to create jobs. And then we need the financial sector to support as well, because there is need after the training for them to have access to funding to be able to start off immediately. So
so how can it also reduce costs? That's the transition into a circular economy.
Yeah, so the way it reduces costs, so let me give this analogy. The production of paper, paper is made from pulp, and pulp is from the tree. So the process of getting the tree to the factory to convert it to pulp, to paper, you have a lot of carbon emission associated with all of that. So, and then the paper is used in the office. So when you treat the paper, they wash off ink, and then so you are starting from the last stage. So all the process of
Has been
cutting,
sidelined.
yes, has been taken out. So that's a cost a major chunk of cost
less
that has
carbon emission.
Yes, and less carbon emission. So that's how you reduce costs in recycling, because now you're starting from like stage 3 of maybe 4 stages, rather than
Very
from
beginning.
virgin manufacturing. So that's how cost is reduced. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, how do you think it's possible to clean up? Because already, so if, let's assume, or let's state now that henceforth from today, we all sort our waste. But you and I know that there is a huge mound of waste in landfills that are yet to be sorted, regardless of how much they've tried to burn it, regardless of how much they've tried to just make it disappear. It's still there. It's, in fact, it's such a big mess. So how do we sort that out in such a way that, okay, even if, I don't know, if there's a way we can turn it to biogas or recycle it or sort it through it, just to ensure that when we now start a new era of sorting our waste properly, we'll know that we still don't have, what's it called now, a backlog of waste that has not been sorted.
Well, the landfill waste, there's nothing really you can do about it. Already, there's gas, methane gas under the ground. So that can be tapped and used. And it should just be left to cure. It should take care of itself. Nature will take care of it. But they have to stop taking there. But they can't stop just like that. It has to be gradual. You know, gradual process. A lot of awareness needs to be created. We need to educate our people. We need to let them know. And there has to be motivation as well. Because it could be, people can see it as a strain to have to be sorting. So, but if someone knows that if I have 10 kg of my PET bottles or 10 kg of pure water, I can get 500 naira for it. After somebody will come every week to pick this and I can get this amount of money. Yeah, I know that will
Like
work.
selling your waste.
Yeah, so that is the way to go. So the process that we have to educate the people. We have to educate the people. There has to be some kind of funding to motivate. That means when you know your waste is sorted and you know you can get some funding for it, that's the way that can encourage, like a reward system. That's what can be fast, that will work. So we have to have enough people per wards who are collecting this particular waste. So the value chain must be organized and that funding motivation must be there. So that's the way it can work. The pure water paper nylon can be converted to the waste bag. Yeah, so people need to stop throwing that into on the floor, in the gutters, the drainages. It's blocking the drainage. So when people know they can get money for it, they will stop that. I mean, the ministry is a pain for them to see the drainage as they clean it. It keeps getting blocked, you know. So, but when we need to educate the people, radio, physical announcements, all of that needs to happen so that people can change their mindset. They need to know that this is not the way to go.
Now, you talked about the radios, the TVs, everyone talking about and educating people on recycling, you know, reusing waste. But then, what of the small local communities, and especially even those that do not even have as little as radios in their houses? How can they be aware? How can they know about it?
There's radio on the phone. So, you can
even have a phone.
Not everyone has a phone. Almost everyone has a phone. But the plan is to go to all the wards.
So physically present in those communities.
Yes, we want to go to all the wards and create that awareness. The radio, especially, and then the TV. So the different ways that people can be notified. So we plan to do that. SMS, So
just before you go, can you identify key factors where or how recycling will be very useful to the economy? Say, okay, this part of recycling or this part of upcycling, this is how it will benefit the economy. Because yes, export makes a lot of sense. However, there's a need to also know that this is sustainable. As we're trying to create a sustainable environment. So we need to know what's sustainable on the long term for the economy.
If we can get into this system, the first advantage is that the environment will be cleaner, because it will get to a state that people can actually still waste because they know they can get money for it. So that's where we're going. So and that's going to be a big reward for all of us. The environment will be cleaner. Health-wise, it's going to be beneficial for us. The mosquitoes won't have places to breed because if the drainages are not blocked, the water flows freely. So rodents don't have anywhere to stay, you know. So there is for the organic waste, there is a machine that converts organic waste to compost in 24 to 48 hours. So yes, that eliminates all that smell and places for cockroaches to breed and rodents, you know. So the environment is going to be cleaner, our health is going to be better, and we will all be happy for it. So that's just one. And then more jobs, green jobs will be created, and this is going to fall under the SDG goals being implemented. SDG goals, about 15 of it can be achieved with this process if it's fully implemented. So, and that's going to be big for us in the country, you know. So a lot is going to be achieved under SDG goals, and greener jobs, clean jobs. The environment will be cleaner and less carbon emission. We'll be achieving green economy. I mean, we'll be fulfilling the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the green principles, which is being advocated by United Nations Framework on Climate Change as antidote to climate change. So that's how we will be achieving.
And climate change is going to be big this year.
No, it's big. I mean, we are losing time. The more we stay in the status quo, we're losing time. We need to change our situation. We need to change how we run things. We need to practice green businesses, you know, and so we're going to win when we start adopting these things.
To enjoy more interesting episodes of Tea or Coffee, then like and subscribe.
When we train more exclusive waste entrepreneurs, that will be creating jobs, and we call it green jobs. So that's how it can create more jobs.